right. Welcome to Week 7 EKU football press conference. Joined as always by head football coach Walt Wells, and then we're also joined by linebacker Maddox Marcellus and quarterback Matt Morrissey. Coach, we'll start with your opening statement with this upcoming game against Southern Utah, and then we'll open the floor to questions. As always, please use the raised hand function or type any questions you have for Coach in the chat. Thank you.
All right, appreciate everybody being here. Sorry I was late there. Like I said, the email restart thing that happens every 3 seconds here at EKU is phenomenal, but coming off a great open week and where I think we got some health and got some rest and obviously got some work done though, both on ourselves and on our opponent, Southern Utah. Southern Utah's coming off a tough loss against Tarleton State in overtime where missed extra point was the difference in the game, and I think they showed a lot of who they are in the second half, especially down 28-7 at halftime and come back and put that thing into overtime and really have a chance to win it in the fourth quarter, but had some things happen. Really good football team. Coach has done a great job there. They're settling in on the quarterback. They're settling in on what they're doing on defense, and will be a tough challenge with all the travel and all the different things that come to play. But we're excited about the opportunity to go to Utah and play in that side of the country. So with that, I'll open it up for any questions.
Michael, if you want to go first.
You talked about, the bye week or the open week, I guess, for you guys. How's it look now with some of the guys that were injured or nicked up? Are they ready to go as you really kind of hit the heart of conference play now?
Well, I don't. That's a great question, and it seems like I get a different answer every day from our medical people. Guy's going to be out 6 weeks, and then it come in today and he's going to be out 2 weeks, and then different things like that continue to happen. So I don't try to judge on it too much. We kind of think if we got anybody back, probably a couple of guys back. Gabe Stevens potentially being one of them. Brady Hensley potentially being one of them, and one of them I can't remember because we've got so many out. But we've got who we've got, and we're excited about those young men and what they're going to bring to our table.
To be the key for you guys to take this consistency you've had offensively over the last 3 home games and carry that on to the road over the next couple of weeks?
Well, that's going to be huge. I mean, when you go on the road, you have to execute at a high level. And that was one of the points I made to our football team yesterday in our team meeting. And I think it's very critical that, we come off an open week and we come off everything and execute at a high level. Now, does that guarantee it's going to happen because you're coming off an open week? No, it does not. What it guarantees is that you're going to have that opportunity, and we have to go out and earn it this week in practice.
North to places like Utah, Colorado, the atmosphere, it's just a different environment out there playing. So how are you preparing the team for that type of different scenario than playing obviously here where we are right now in Kentucky?
Well, I don't know if the crowd will be. The crowd will be good, I'm sure. I'm not saying it like that, but the crowd will be the crowd. I think it'll be more the altitude and the things that we can't prepare until we get out there. Our plan is to leave early, get out there and spend as much time in the altitude as we can, get a workout in out there, and do all the things medically that we can do to enhance the opportunity for these young men not to be affected by that. Number one thing is, it is what it is. It's not going to change. They have to play in it too. And so, obviously a lot of teams playing it. All these guys say they want to play in the NFL, and if Denver drafted them, they go play in the altitude tomorrow. So we can't worry about that. We got to go out and we got to play and be ready to play and execute.
That's one for me. When you look at where your team is at right now, as far as maybe individual players or whatever the case may be, what's the most surprising thing that you've seen from your guys as you come out of the open week and now you really get into these games that matter?
Well, that's a great question. And surprising, I don't know if there's too much that has surprised me. I think our corners are playing right now at a good level. And hopefully they'll continue to do that, both Jordan Thomas and Vito Tisdale and Trey Gooden. And we need them to play at a good level. I think our two who were at the time were backup inside linebackers. Marcellus Maddox, who's on this call, and Sullivan have come in and taken over starting roles and doing a great job. Offensively, I think our ability to be able to run the football the way we have has kind of been a surprise, especially with the moving parts we've had up front. And so I think, all that together may be something that I'm happy with, but not, I don't want to say surprised, because I knew all those young men had it in them, and they just have to play the way they have. And, it's a credit to our coaches and to them players, getting that stuff done.
All right, Cameron Drummond.
Hey there, Walt. Good to see you again. Just have one from me today. I know you mentioned about rest, recovery, like all those aspects that go into a bye week. But in terms of, working on something specifically, whether it's with personnel, with film, with a specific position group, just where do you think you guys had the best week last week leading up to Southern Utah?
Well, I think the rest and the recovery was the best part of it. We needed that. And I think our young men went out and did a good job of enhancing on the fundamentals that our coaches gave them. And so what we did is our assistant coaches gave me, before we started practice, the 4 to 6 things that they thought they needed to improve on at each position. And then they went out and worked on those in our individual time that we gave them. I gave them extra individual time than normal what they would have. And then we went on and prepared for Southern Utah. And then it was good to see our younger players playing a live type scrimmage. They were in full pads, and they came out, and the energy and the enthusiasm, we let the young coaches call it a little bit. So it's fun for them and it's fun for everybody. But to see the actual hitting that went on and the playmaking that went on in that young scrimmage, I'm really excited that those guys got to come out and put some things on tape, so that we know as we're moving forward, if some more things happen injury wise or something happens, then we can, we have these guys that have experience. But I think, for the guys that have been playing a lot, I think it's those 4 to 6 things that each coach gave me that they went in to work on. I thought we did a good job, watching the film and then just standing out there and going to each individual station at different times and watching. I thought our coaches were teaching, and I thought our players were actually understanding and trying to execute.
All right, coach. And then one for me, this is a team you guys haven't seen since 2022, but, and they've had some really tough losses lately, early in this season. But what are, one things on either side of the ball that you guys have seen on tape that they do really well, that you guys know you're going to have to prepare, that you guys have been preparing for as you guys get ready for Saturday's game against the Thunderbirds?
I think the best thing that shows up on tape for them is they know who they are, and they are where they're supposed to be. They play extremely hard, especially on both sides of the ball. They play hard. They have belief in what they do, and they do what they do. And now that doesn't mean they're simple. That just means that they understand what their coach, who's I think in his 3rd year now, has installed, and on both sides of the ball in the kicking game. And they do a great job of being where they're supposed to be, how they're supposed to be. And we're going to have to come out and execute on the road at a high level for us to be able to come out the way we want to come out this thing.
All right, Coach Wells, thank you so much for your time. Always appreciate it. We'll now move forward with the student athlete interviews with Maddox Marcellus. Maddox, if you want to unmute your mic.
How we doing?
How you doing, Maddox? Can you hear us?
Doing good. Yes, sir.
Wonderful. Michael, if you want to start with questions, and we'll go from there.
First of all, how are we feeling?
I feel good.
You guys, the defense has been pretty impressive over this 3-game homestand. But on the road, we know what those first 2 games, kind of happened during those first 2 games. So talk about how you guys can carry over what you all did. I think allowing less than 10 points per game at home. How do you carry that over into these next 2 weeks when you're on the road, especially this week against Southern Utah?
I feel like the first 2 weeks were obviously rough. You know what I mean? We're all getting used to playing with each other and stuff like that. I think the biggest thing as a defense, I think people are stepping up. Leaders are stepping up. You know what I mean? I feel like the energy is through the roof right now. I feel like everybody's if everybody's energy up, everybody's having fun, it allows us to be ourselves and play to the best version of ourselves. So, going to Southern Utah Saturday, obviously they're a really good team, really good running back we're going against. I feel like we just gotta continue continue with the energy, continue with everybody executing the game plan, everybody staying focused, and that starts with practice. And I feel like, today in practice we gotta that's where it starts.
Out to you on film when you've watched these guys play. What are you guys going to have to key on to get a victory?
Well, obviously they have a really good running back, really good O line, but the thing that stands out to me is their discipline. You know what I mean? They I don't really see that much mistakes. They went down, I think it was 28-7 to Tarleton State, and they stayed poised, played even harder in the second half. So it just shows that they can't count them out. You know what I mean? No matter what the score is, can't scoreboard watch, and just, got to play 4 quarters with them.
Good luck Saturday.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, Maddox, you talk about playing, a complete game, and that's something that this defense has talked about a lot lately, talking about wanting to get shutouts and stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
Thing that you guys have done extremely well, eighth best in the FCS actually, is your red zone defense. What is it about this team where, you guys, that holding that bend but don't break mentality, teams might get some yards on you, but what has allowed you guys to kind of bow the neck a little bit and keep teams from out of the end zone for these past few weeks?
I mean, we got to stay calm. You know what I mean? I mean, big plays are gonna happen. They're a Division 1 offense. You know what I mean? We can't if something happens on us, we can't hang our heads down or get mad. You know what I mean? I think that's what we've all done a great job at on the field. The leaders stepping up. Someone gets a ball caught on them, a big play happens. I mean, we're all like, okay, next play, next play, next play, all talking to each other, getting the guy up. You know what I mean? I think that's really helped. I think that's really helped us. And I think that we know even if some team gets in the red zone, it's like, okay, we know they can't score on us. You know what I mean? Next play. So I feel like it's that next play mentality that we all have on the defense that really helps us in that red zone and on defense in general.
Yeah, and then one thing Coach Wells has talked a lot about is the passion and energy and juice you guys have been playing with, particularly over these past 3 weeks at home. How do you find that balance of wanting to have that juice, that edge that you need to play defense, but then also keeping that level head and fulfilling those basic assignments to where you're not playing out of control? How do you find that balance for yourself, and then how do you think your team has been doing that?
Me personally, I think I can speak for everybody. Is like on that sideline, like when we get in the huddle, like ready to go out, it's like, okay, everybody's juiced up, everybody's ready to go, everybody's, focused, and you know what I mean? Everybody's playing with a lot of passion. But when we get on the field, it's like, okay, let's communicate, let's know what we're doing, let's stay focused to what we got going on. And then after the play, it's like, okay, then we could get the energy, then we can get the juice. So it's like it's just knowing when the time is right to have the juice and when the time is right to have the focus and keyed in on the details, you know what I mean? So it's just a time and place, and I feel like everybody knows that. And it's just, I don't know. It's just really like it's something you just gotta have. You know what I mean? It's knowing when and where to have it.
Right. And then, last question, you guys have, it's been a bend but don't break mentality, but then also a next man up mentality with, some of the injuries you guys have had, seemingly at every level on the defensive side.
Right.
What has allowed you guys, though, despite all of those injuries, plugging in a lot of new guys that at the beginning of the season you probably thought weren't going to see a whole lot of action, what has allowed those guys to kind of come in and things seem to roll relatively seamlessly these past 3 games for you guys defensively?
I feel like the guys that did get injured, like Kyle Kelly and Colin Robinson, they were huge, how could I say it? Like it just hurt the team, you know what I mean? Like they're really, really good players. But I feel like everybody does have that next man up mentality. And those guys, like they're there every day. You know what I mean? They're there to encourage and coach and stuff like that, just to keep the next man up, including myself. You know what I mean? Like Colin has been a huge role model for me. When he was playing, he was always trying to coach me and stuff like that. So when he got hurt, it's like all right, Maddox, it's time to go now. You know what I mean? It's getting real. So I feel like every guy that's been injured and stuff happens to him, they're there to coach him and not, you know what I mean, not get selfish. So I feel like that's what it is for us.
Awesome. Great stuff. Maddox, thank you so much for your time. Always appreciate it. Good luck on Saturday.
Appreciate you guys, man.
All right. We'll now welcome quarterback Matt Morrissey to the call. Right, there he is. Michael, I'll let you open up with your questions.
Matt, we've seen you get really comfortable over the last 3 weeks with the offense. You and I feel like your wide receivers, you and Daquan, Jacob, you guys have really kind of gotten into a rhythm and a sync offensively. So how do you carry that over? Because a lot of times, whenever you're playing,
Michael, your audio cut out there for a little bit. Can you go back? Can't hear you. I think your mic might be covered.
How about now?
There you go.
Playing, obviously, you don't really want to have that open week, but it's come and gone. Now you're on the road again. So how can you carry over the things offensively that you've been doing these last 3 weeks at home?
Yeah, I think we definitely did start getting in the rhythm as the season came on, but I think the bye week also gave us, an opportunity to get more reps in together in practice. We still had a couple practices and, ran plays and, we're throwing and everything. So I think we still, took advantage of the bye week to get those reps, because at the end of the day, the reps is the most important thing for the connection and for everyone to get comfortable in the offense.
Be key for you guys to go on the road and get a win this week?
Obviously, we got to be clean and, limit our mistakes, because, this defense is a pretty good defense. They play a lot of close games and they play really hard. So, we got to limit our mistakes and try and play as perfect as we can.
Thanks, man. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Matt, starting with more of a personal question for you. Before transferring here, you were at, Western Illinois. You had a really tough season last year, and obviously the first 2 games this year weren't quite what you wanted, but now you've been able to stack 3 wins as a starter here at EKU. What has that done for your confidence within yourself? And what has that been like for you in being able to enjoy those Saturdays and those post-game win celebrations?
Yeah. Actually been great. The first 2 games were tough, and then, so it was just something that, I was looking for, and, definitely boosted confidence. And, it's a feeling that you want to feel every single week. So, you got to keep going hard every week so you could enjoy your Saturdays.
Yeah, Matt, half of that answer got cut out. Could you start that over again? I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. So I said, yeah, obviously it felt great getting the first win. After the first 2 games, they weren't good feelings, and, just trying to chase that first win. Once you got it, it felt really good. So it gives you kind of motivation every week to handle your business during the week and handle that business on.
Right. And then, Matt, you talked about, getting comfortable with this offense. It really does seem like you've found a groove. Talk us through a little bit, how that's built in terms of those connections, those relationships that you had on the offseason, but you've just continued to be able to build. What's the conversation right now between you and your wide receivers in, building those relationships still to continue these performances?
Yeah, I think, like I said earlier, just, the more reps you get, the more you're going to build those, the chemistry and everything. So I think, we all have a good relationship where the receivers know they come talk to me, and I know I come talk to them about what we see, and, just making sure we're on the same page, and, just keep getting those reps is, the best is what we can do to make us the best we can be.
Right. Well, Matt, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate you as always, man. Good luck on Saturday. Thank you to the media members for attending this week's press conference, and we will see you next week. Go Colonels.